Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to Monday's lesson of English, where this week we're going to continue reading The Horned Helmet. I'm sure you're thinking it's probably been a while now since we have been reading The Horned Helmet, because last week you were newspaper journalists and you wrote your own newspaper about the raids. So it's been a fair few days now since we've read any more of the story, so it's going to be really important that we recap exactly where we got up to last time. You'll remember that the Vikings had arrived at the village of Briar and they left their longship and decided to raid the village, and they went in screaming and shouting and taking everything that they wanted. Bjorn retold the story. He stayed close to Starkad, and his recount of the story was all a little bit exciting but also a little bit worrying too. He had a mixture of feelings. You'll also remember that right at the end of the chapter, the last part that we read, was Starkad was refusing to leave the chief's hut. He had turned into Berserk mode and refused to leave. And none of the other Vikings, none of the villagers could make Starkad hear them. And he had gone into almost like a bit like a trance. Okay. So that's exactly where we're going to be thinking about for today, okay? And I want us to really think about Bjorn and his feelings, because you can see in our ICAN that we're going to be putting ourselves in role as Bjorn today. And we're going to do a little bit of acting, which I'm sure you're going to be looking forward to. And we're also going to be writing another account in Bjorn's diary. We've done a couple of those now. So it's going to be really important today to really start thinking about Bjorn and his feelings and his experiences that he might have experienced at these different parts in the story. So, to start with today, I want you to pop over to YouTube in just a moment, and I want you to listen to Miss Eddleston reading the next part of the chapter. Okay, chapter 6 is called The Lost Sword and Found Son, and chapter 6 picks up from exactly where we left off after the raid and Starkad in Berserk mode. Okay, while you're listening to the chapter, I want you to be really thinking about Bjorn. Okay, what has Bjorn seen? What has Bjorn experienced? And especially, what's he thinking and what's he feeling? Okay, his thoughts and feelings are going to be a really important aspect of your diary account today. Okay, so pause now and listen to chapter 6 over on YouTube. And welcome back. So now that we've listened to chapter 6, I want us to really focus on that last paragraph. Okay, so I've got the last paragraph here, and I want us to be thinking about exactly what's happened at that last part of the chapter, because that's going to be a really important part for your diary today. So I'm just going to read you that last part again. And while I'm reading, I want you to think about, first of all, what has Starkad said to Bjorn? And how is Bjorn feeling about it? Okay. Bjorn was so tired he could have slept on the yardarm. Gork put a sheepskin down for him under the prow platform, out of the spray. But just as he was about to lie down, Starkad came forward and raised him up again, smiling and patting his shoulder with his great hard hand. "Come, Bjorn," said the Berserk was saying. "I cannot find a shipmate and lose him all in one night. From this time, lad, you will share my sleeping place and be like a son to me, and you shall sing your Snorpig song only for me and for no other. And what I gain shall be half yours, and I will stand by you against all the world." Bjorn went with him, almost weeping now for happiness. So what has Starkad said to Bjorn then? Following that raid, they've returned back to the Viking longship, and just as Bjorn was about to go to sleep, as we can see here, Gork had put a sheepskin down for him under the platform so that he could be out of the spray from the water. He could keep dry, perhaps, but probably not a very comfortable place for him to sleep. Just as he was about to lay down, Starkad has asked him to come with him. Okay, and he said from now on he's going to be with Starkad. He will share his sleeping place, and he's going to treat him like his son. That must be the most powerful feeling that Bjorn has felt in a very, very long time. He said that you're going to sing your song to me, nobody else, and I'm going to share everything with you. all of my fortune, all of my money, everything that I have is going to be half yours. And I will stand by you for all of the world. So he's going to protect him. Okay. And it says at the end there that Bjorn was weeping for happiness. So I want us to really be thinking about these questions today. Okay. Now that Bjorn has Starkad, almost a bit like a father figure for him, what do you think he might be hoping for? Okay, what might he be hoping for in the future? And this is not something that I want you to write down just yet. I want you to be thinking about how he might be feeling. I want you to think about his feelings. Perhaps he's going to have some feelings towards his real father. Perhaps he's going to have some feelings towards his mother, but also towards Starkad. Right? How might he be feeling? And would he have any fears for the future? We know that Starkad can turn into Berserk mode at any opportunity. So might that worry Bjorn, perhaps? Might he have some fears? And what might they be? So now that you've thought about those and starting to really think about Bjorn as that character and putting yourself into his position, today I want us to do a little bit of acting. Now I want you to think back to a couple of weeks ago when we met Bjorn. It really wasn't me, I promise. But I want you to think about that acting and that hot seat. Okay, because today, rather than me putting myself in the hot seat to pretend to be Bjorn, I want you guys to do it. Okay, and I want you to act out and be Bjorn. So in order for that to happen, you're going to have to ask a family member to help you, just like I did when I did it a few weeks ago. I had a family member ask the questions to really get an idea of how Bjorn is feeling. And from doing this is really going to help you to put yourself in Bjorn's shoes, okay? Really think about him as a character and how he's feeling. So once you're in that hot seat, I want your family member, if you can use a sibling, an older brother, a sister, a parent, whoever you've got there, I would like your family member to ask these questions to you. How do you feel now that Starkad has said you are like a son to him? Remember, you are Bjorn. Why is this so important to you? What do you think your life on board the ship will be like now? What are you hoping for now? And finally, do you have any worries about what the future might be like? You might want to add some of your own questions in there for your parents or your siblings to ask as well, and that's absolutely fine. But these questions will really get you thinking about exactly how Bjorn is feeling, okay? I would love it if you could video your hot seats as well. I'd love to see some examples of these that you could send to me of you in the hot seat. So perhaps your family member, while they're asking you the questions, could be filming you too. Okay. So I'd like you to pause now, do that hot seat in, and then come back to me when you've had a go. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the hot seat in, and I can't wait to see some of the examples of the acting skills that you guys have produced. Well done. I hope that now has really helped you to really think about Bjorn's thoughts and Bjorn's feelings, okay? Because for the rest of today's lesson now, you're going to be writing another entry into his diary, okay? And just like I've done here, I'll read this to you in just a moment. I've really tried to think about all of the things that have happened to Bjorn on this day, okay? Remember, this is the day that the raids have happened. It's all happened in one day. And he's had some very new experiences, but he will have been feeling a lot of mixed emotions, okay? So I really want you to be thinking about that. And I want you to just write a short diary account, okay? It doesn't have to be huge, just to try and share those thoughts and feelings that Bjorn might have from that day, okay? So have a look at mine. It says, "Dear Diary, amazingly, today was one of the most exciting days of my life. It didn't start that way. In fact, I feared for my life during the raids. However, I was quite heroic in the end. Before we raided the village, Starkad turned Berserk, which meant everyone was afraid of him. Surprisingly, I managed to tame the raging beast, and as a result, we managed to leave the island safely. As a result, this made Starkad realise how brave I am, and in return, he has adopted me and will now share his fortune with me. I can't believe how happy this has made me. I now feel like I belong, and I'm so excited to live my life as a Viking. Bjorn." So I've tried to get his mix of emotions in there, okay? And I've started my diary with how he was feeling about the raids, because that was an experience he had earlier on, okay? Feeling a little bit fearful, but that changed at the end, okay? I've then tried to get his feelings in that last paragraph, that last part of the story where he found out that he's now being adopted. He's now got this father figure, somebody to look after him, which is what he's been wanting all along. Okay, and I've tried to share his thoughts and emotions and feelings around that as well. In the Google Drive, you will find an emotion mat that will help you with some language and some vocab choices that you could use to help you to put your diary together. Okay, so I want you to have a go at writing your diary, and as I say, it doesn't have to be huge, just showing those thoughts and feelings of Bjorn. And you can see there's the example there of that emotion map, okay, of perhaps that you could use to help you. Once you've written your diary account, I'd really like you to edit it as you go. So making sure you're checking for your capital letters, your full stops, your commas. Are you choosing the best pieces of vocab to share Bjorn's feelings? Okay. Have you got all of those feeling words in there that perhaps you might need, and perhaps a mix of emotions? You can see that from the different colours on this vocab map. Okay. Okay, so once you've written your diary accounts and you're happy that you've edited as you've gone along, our final part of today's lesson is to listen to the next chapter. We're just going to listen to the beginning of chapter 7, which is called Gretti's Venture. Okay, so pop over to YouTube, listen to the first part of the next chapter, and ready for tomorrow's lesson. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.